The Radio Wemo Breakfast.
The best ideas are free with Ben Young from Bwaggy.com.
The best ideas are free. Bwaggy.com, BWAGY.com. Ben Young is back in the Kiwi studio. G'day there, Ben.
Good morning.
And you had a week last week where you spent some time with a superstar.
The week before, and it's superstar.
Who is the superstar?
So, not last Friday, but the Friday before, Results.com invited me to come and interview a speaker that they brought across from the States, a guy called Jack Daly.
Right.
He's basically an entrepreneur that loves sales. He's built 6 companies from scratch and turned them into national-sized companies in the US.
Any kind of any company that we would recognise as a name?
No, they're in the finances vertical, so they offer really specific finance products.
Right.
He was Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
He's also he's 61 and he's doing Ironmans and marathons and going all around the world. He's still achieving a heck of a lot.
Ultra motivational
And ultra do.
Yeah.
You know, getting so much done and not, and he puts it quite nicely, activity versus action. Activity is just keeping yourself busy, whereas he's, you know, using action to work towards something. And on his website he shares his goal list, and when I printed it out, and it's bullet pointed, it was 3 pages.
Goodness.
3 pages, and he's really specific.
Got a few things he wants to hit.
Like 170 mils of red wine every day with dinner.
Yeah.
I think 237,000 yards I want to swim over the year. I want to have done a marathon every X days. I forget the exact number.
Man, those are really specific.
Yeah, really, really specific.
It's not for everyone, though, eh? Some people
even he says,
Yeah.
do not ever go this far. I have gone too far, and I cannot reasonably expect anyone else to go this far.
Yeah.
And
Did you get an electric shock off his handshake?
No, not quite. But he was very energising to be around. So I met Sir Bob Geldof a few years back, and he's almost the same. Just let's stop mucking around. You know, we know what needs to be done. Let's get on and do it. And so he did a sales conference on the Friday, talking in the morning about sales and how to improve sales within your organisation. Then in the afternoon, talking about culture.
Yep.
And also the night before, I got to sit down and do an interview with him. So I was able to get such a wide range of knowledge within about 36 hours. By the end, I was very, very tired.
You got a bigger dose than your average.
Yes, definitely. And the hour that I'd spent with him the night before was very full on, in a good way. And then to go to the conference the next day was even a bit much. But it was good.
And that leads on to what we're going to be talking about today is sales, indeed.
Yeah, so Jack provides on his website, that's jackdaly.net, D-A-L-Y. If you Google it, you'll find it. But he provides 21 tips to sales success, and what I wanted to do was just talk about a few of them. So number 1 is selling is the transfer of trust. So what he's saying here is that people buy from people, products or brands that they trust, and they do business with them on a repeated basis if they trust them. For example, if you look on the flip side, why would you buy products from a company you don't trust?
Or the product doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. And this is clearly something BP is going to have issues with over the next few years.
Yeah.
People aren't going to trust them, and in fact they don't, especially in the US. Why should they keep buying from them, even though petrol is a commodity?
Did you used to go to BP, or do go to BP?
There aren't any BPs in town.
It's easier then, isn't it?
Yeah,
don't have to make that choice. There's BP down the road from us, and I know that we have decided, just in general, we will drive that a little bit further towards where we're going to until we see another petrol station.
Yeah. But
it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of silly at the same time.
It is a little bit silly, but the reality is that's how consumers feel.
Yeah.
The sad thing in New Zealand is I suspect that local BP is actually owned by local operators and not the global corporation.
Exactly.
That has made this mistake.
Well, they need to change their name, don't they?
Yeah, because, well, again, it comes back down to trust. Selling is the transfer of trust.
Yeah.
Tip number 2, and this is one I always used to muck up. Always. And it's something that when you start getting involved in sales, whether or not it's a purposeful approach into sales, that you kind of do and you break all the time. And he says, never quote price until you establish value. So too often people say, look, it's $100 for this, $50 for that, $30 for this. And when you present that price up front, unless you've got the opportunity to really drive home the value afterwards, you've probably turned people off because they're going on first impressions. And it's tough to establish very, very high value on first impressions. And an example I would always give is that during Apple's famous presentations when they launch new products, they spend almost 45 minutes talking about how great the product is, it does this, it does that. They bring in other people to tell them how great it is. And all the time the audience is going, hey, wow, this is amazing. I wonder how much it costs.
And then by the time they give out the price, it's $1,000 a month. Everyone's like, $1,000, awesome.
Yeah, because the presentation has been built up for you to expect $2,000. And when it's only $1,000, you're like, oh, it's only, you know. So
I only have to give my firstborn, not my second.
And kind of following off this, and he said, the reason people don't buy based on price is down to two variables, a lack of trust and a lack of perceived value. So if you're trying to sell to someone, make sure that you've got the perceived value up there, how it's going to help their business, what kind of value it's going to create, how it's going to improve their life, you know, how it's going to improve their social status, all that kind of stuff. Again, it depends who you're selling to as to what they value. But also make sure you've got that trust there, that consumer trust, the trust between the two parties, such that they're going to want to transfer that trust for dollars.
Okay.
So that's a really, really good one. And it's a mistake I think all small business owners do, because we feel a little bit stressed about the price, we want to get it out there, when really we're letting the cat out of the bag, you know, far too early, and probably walking away from a sales deal, leaving lots of dollars on the table.
Exactly. Well, that's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of great points. What's the website?
jackdaly.net.
jackdaly.net.
Or if you visit my blog, so if you're in New Zealand and you Google Ben Young, it's the first result.
Yep.
Hopefully. No, it is. And if you scroll down, I've got 3 or 4 videos there, and you can watch those.
Oh, cool.
They're up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And there's 4 of them. They're split up into about 10 to 13 minutes. Very helpful, very valuable. At the end of the day, all of us at some point in time have to sell to someone else, whether it's for, you know, personal gain or business gain or helping in your career. So it's well worth having a watch or a listen.
Some great points there. And of course, don't forget, while you're browsing around Bwaggy.com, check out his book as well. The Best Ideas Are Free. And continue the conversation on Twitter, twitter.com/Bwaggy. See you next time, Ben.
Cool.